Hey, how's it going, people? It's closing in on the end of the fourth, but this is around the time that I feel like the fireworks would probably be starting in some places, maybe a bit later. Um, however, there won't be fireworks this year because of COVID. I wanted to say a couple things about the fourth. Obviously, America was founded on ideas that it does not always follow, but the ideas that America was founded on were some pretty damn great ideas. America might be a little bit of a mess right now. We have a police brutality problem. We have a systematic racism problem. We have a problem with the president. We have a problem with COVID 19. And we have many other problems, more than I can list, more than I can think of right now. But the thing about America is that we are founded on principles that all men are created equal. We are founded on principles that all people should be able to speak freely what they want to say and believe in what they want to believe in. Be able to defend themselves and own whatever kinds of property they want to own. Right? We believe that people have certain unalienable rights in this country. Now, these are all great things that happened on the 4th of July. Not everybody was 100% free on the 4th. That came many years later. About, I'd say 100 years later is when everybody, a little bit less than 100 years, maybe about 90-ish years later, is when everybody truly became free in America. But on July 4th, 1776, there were a lot of people that were given a lot of rights. And through those rights, those people were able to create rights or for others. They were able to, and others were able to fight for those rights while using a admittedly limited capacity of the rights that were given to, I'll just say, the group of white men that existed back in 1776. But since then, the rights, like I said, have been extended to everybody. However, today, there are groups of people that have had those rights infringed on. And I think that this is a great problem. But it is a great problem that can be fixed through the same ideals that were built on July 4th. July 4th is not just about freedom. July 4th is about everything that America stands for. July 4th is about being able to protect your rights, being able to stand up for rights you believe you should have, being able to press forward and stand against injustices. America hasn't always been on the side of justice, but in a lot of the world's struggles, it has been. America has fought for the people that seem to be defenseless many times over. America has become one of the safest countries to live in over the course of history. America has become one of the greatest nations in the world. And if you don't believe that, well, you can go look at some facts because it actually is. I'm not saying that America is perfect, but the rest of the world is not as great as people seem to think. You look at places like China, you look at places like Russia, you look at places like North Korea, you look at places, and you look at a lot of places in the Middle East, and I think about, all of those places. And China is an industrialized country, just the same as the United States. But the people in China do not have the same freedoms that we do in the United States. No one has any of those freedoms. And you might say, well, there are marginalized groups in the United States. But even the marginalized groups in the United States have more freedoms than the people living in China and Russia. The United States gives people a way to work up. The United States gives people a way to speak out. The United States allows people to believe what they want to believe. And that's what makes the United States at least somewhat great. The United States has been a home for a lot of us, and I think that on the day of July 4th, it is a good day to remember the United States' failures, but also successes. Then you could say, but why should we celebrate a nation that has failed so many times over? We should celebrate a nation that has failed so many times over because it is still a nation that gives us, the people, a chance to make it better. And I think that's what we need to do. On this July 4th, we might want to just try to reminisce a little bit on America's past. So that way we can try to build a better future for the next generation of America. And that way they can build an even greater future for the people that come after them. You know, legacy isn't about what you build. It is about what you build for who comes next. And that's the important part of what America is. America is somewhat of a dream, right? America is America itself is not a dream. The ideas that America were founded on are a dream. They're a dream that we strive to try to make a reality. Those are the ideas that need to be celebrated on the 4th. But we need to also remember that the 4th is not just a day of celebration, but a day of realization. A day that we need to realize that America is not perfect. We can celebrate America's strengths on this day, but we also know that we need to focus on its weaknesses. But its weaknesses can be and should be alleviated by its strengths. We need to use America's strengths to fix its weaknesses. This is the time these days, right now, today on 4th of July and even tomorrow on the 5th, to start speaking out for what you believe, what you think is right. Because if no one does that, we're just going to be stuck in this same situation next year, come next 4th of July. One day, I hope that the 4th of July will be a day that we can truly celebrate. I believe it's a day that we should celebrate America for what it could become and what it should become. There's a lot that we can achieve in this country together. And I hope to see a day when it is finally achieved. I hope there is a day when America is truly a place where all men are created equal.